Schönen guten Tag, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren. Herzlich willkommen zum 28. Finanzsymposium in Mannheim. Ich hoffe, Sie werden 3 oder 2,5 schöne und interessante Tage haben. Unser Motto ist natürlich jedes Jahr besser und mehr. Sie sehen ja schon, besseres Wetter, mehr angemeldete Teilnehmer als je zuvor. Wir kratzen an 2000. Das ist gar nicht übel. Mehr Inhalt, mehr Abwechslung. Es tut sich so einiges. Einige der Neuerungen sehen Sie gleich da oben hinter mir auch angeschrieben. Wir freuen uns zum Beispiel sehr, einen neuen Hauptsponsor bei der Veranstaltung zu begrüßen, BNP Paribas, die das folgende Referat auch unterstützen und nebenbei den Länderkiosk. Das ist eine schöne Ergänzung unserer Veranstaltung. Und neben mehr und besser und mehr Qualität haben wir uns jetzt gedacht, jetzt müssen wir die Veranstaltung unbedingt auch noch internationalisieren. Aus dem Grund hören Sie heute ein Referat eines Tschechen in englischer Sprache. Und eine Moderatorin haben unsere Trend-Scouts oder Talent-Scouts, der Martin Winkler, in der Schweiz gefunden. Patricia Leri, die man in der Schweiz kennt als Moderatorin im Fernsehen und die dort auch Veranstaltungen für CFOs und Treasurer moderiert. Und das hat uns sehr gut gefallen und deswegen wird Frau Leri Sie auch die folgenden 2 Tage führen. Und damit ist mein Job auch bereits getan. Frau Leri, kommen Sie bitte auf die Bühne und übernehmen Sie.
Ja, grüezi. Guten Tag, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren. Ich freue mich sehr, hier zu sein. Danke auch Jochen Schwabe für diese wohlwollenden Worte. Und dann würde ich jetzt blitzartig die Moderation übernehmen. Sie entkommen jetzt nämlich nicht einer kurzen Fragerei auch, weil Sie als Grand Seigneur, der Treasurer, Berater, Sie sehen ja da ganz viel in verschiedene Firmen rein. Wo sind die Treasurer denn jetzt besonders gefordert zurzeit?
Also zurzeit, ganz kurzfristig würde ich sagen, wird die Herausforderung darin bestehen, die heutige und die morgige Abendveranstaltung gut zu überstehen und ohne viel Kopfschmerz am Freitag ins Wochenende zu gelangen.
Also verstehe ich das richtig, so ein bisschen die Mittel, die flüssigen Mittel zu managen, richtig?
Genau, ja, so in die Richtung.
Das wäre die größte.
Das können die ganz gut.
Habe ich auch schon gehört. Also ja. Ihr Ruf eilt Ihnen voraus. Aber Spaß beiseite, was sagen wir, was steht denn wirklich auf der Agenda?
Naja, wir bemühen uns natürlich schon, auch aktuellen Entwicklungen Rechnung zu tragen, was bei einer solchen Veranstaltung, die eine Vorlaufzeit von einem Jahr mindestens hat, in ihrer Gestaltung nicht ganz einfach ist. Aber natürlich ist ein Thema, das ist ja nicht neu, das kann jeder in der Zeitung nachverfolgen und weiß es eben auch als Treasurer aus leidvollem Erleben, das Nullzinsumfeld oder das Negativzinsumfeld, in dem wir uns befinden. Und deswegen haben wir zum Beispiel, das ist sicherlich nicht das einzige Thema, das umtreibt, morgen auf der Agenda ein neues Asset Management Forum, wo wir uns darum kümmern werden oder darüber sprechen werden, was man denn in so einem Umfeld für Strategien anwenden kann und wie man damit umgehen kann. So gibt es jedes Jahr irgendein neues Thema, das uns durchs Dorf treibt und wir versuchen, uns dem entsprechend zu stellen.
Aber es täuscht nicht, oder? Negativzinsen, dann Währungsturbulenzen, ist ja eigentlich schon unfair, dass so viele Weltprobleme irgendwie auf einer Berufsgruppe lasten.
Ja, das ist richtig, aber die Herrschaften können damit umgehen und sie haben ja gute Unterstützung, wenn sie die richtigen Berater haben.
Okay, ja, nicht schlecht. Oder ein Verkäufer ist da auch noch. Jochen Schwabe, danke vielmals für diesen, sagen wir mal, bedeutungsschwangeren Auftakt.
Viel Erfolg.
Herzlichen Dank. Ja, einer, der auch weiß, was die Treasurer derzeit wirklich umtreibt, ist Thorsten Murke. Er ist Chef des ganzen Bereichs der Firmenkunden und der institutionellen Kunden bei der BNP Paribas. Bitte sehr, Thorsten Murke. Da ist er.
Eine gefährliche Bekanntmachung einer, der weiß, worum es geht. Guten Tag, meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren. Ich freue mich sehr, gemeinsam mit Ihnen das 28. Finanzsymposium heute zu eröffnen. Das Finanzsymposium ist in Deutschland eine Institution, an der sich BNP Paribas seit vielen Jahren sehr, sehr gerne und vor allen Dingen auch ganz bewusst beteiligt. Und es ist für uns ein sehr wichtiges Forum für das Corporate und Transaction Banking, um mit Ihnen im persönlichen Gespräch aktuelle und aus unserer Sicht auch drängende Themen zu adressieren und dabei von Ihnen zu hören, was Sie von uns benötigen. Ich spreche sicherlich im Namen aller hier vertretenen Sponsoren und Aussteller, wenn ich Ihnen sage, meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, dass uns das sehr freut und auch sehr ehrt, mit Ihnen hier diese 3 Tage zu verbringen. Gleich in der ersten Woche des Jahres oder in den ersten Wochen des Jahres haben wir nach dem Kursrutsch in China unerwartet holprige und volatile Märkte erlebt. Und Sie werden diese Zeit auch in den Quartalsberichterstattungen der Banken in den nächsten Wochen wiedersehen. Die Monate Januar und Februar waren sicherlich keine einfachen Monate für unsere Branche. Hinzu kommt die Zuspitzung der Geldpolitik durch die Europäische Zentralbank, die das mehrjährige Niedrigzinsumfeld in eine Null-, ja gar Negativzinsrealität überführt hat und mit den vielfältigen Folgen nicht zuletzt für die Finanzierung betrieblicher Pensionsverpflichtungen. Und noch vor uns liegt die Frage im Juni nach einem Brexit und dessen mögliche Folgen. Und ich habe vor ein paar Tagen auch Axel Weber zu dem Thema gehört, der gerade aus Washington kam, und er klang nicht zuversichtlich, dass die Briten die richtige Entscheidung treffen. Also von daher, es sollte uns mit Sorge erfüllen, und wir hoffen, dass insbesondere im Anfang Juni nicht irgendein geopolitisches Ereignis passiert, was die Briten dann vielleicht zu der falschen Wahl bewegt. Auch eine potenzielle Zahlungsunfähigkeit Griechenlands wird derzeit wieder aktiv diskutiert, und Sie verfolgen hier sicherlich auch die Äußerungen des IWF. Zugleich treten grundlegend neue Entwicklungen immer deutlicher zutage, und allen voran die rasant fortschreitende Digitalisierung. Sie schafft neue Chancen und Möglichkeiten auch für das Corporate Treasury. Sie bringt aber auch ganz neue Risiken mit sich. Und ich möchte ein Stichwort herausgreifen: die Internetkriminalität. Aber sie schafft auch eine Fragmentierung in der Anbieterlandschaft, die ihrerseits Übersicht, guten Rat und auch Anleitung erfordert. Und in dieser zunehmend komplexen Gemengelage aus marktimmanenten, geldpolitischen, regulatorischen und technischen Veränderungen stellen sich Ihnen als Finanzentscheider vielfältige Herausforderungen. Cash- und Finanzrisikomanagement, das Management von Verbindlichkeiten der Finanzierung und Anlageentscheidungen über Überschussliquidität sind im gegenwärtigen Umfeld nicht einfacher geworden. Sie werden das mit mir teilen, im Gegenteil. Wer aber immer mehr leisten muss, benötigt an anderer Stelle auch Entlastung. Und diese müssen Sie von Ihren Partnern erwarten dürfen, allen voran von uns Banken. Und glauben Sie mir, wir Banken schauen deshalb sehr genau hin, wenn es um Ihre Bedürfnisse geht. Der Kunde steht im Zentrum unseres Handelns. Und dazu möchte ich mit Ihnen ein paar Zahlen aus einer gemeinsamen Studie teilen, die wir BNP Paribas gemeinsam mit der Boston Consulting Group durchgeführt haben. Und für diese haben wir im vergangenen Jahr weltweit und auch branchenübergreifend 500 Kollegen von Ihnen befragt, von Unternehmen mit einem Jahresumsatz von mindestens 500 Millionen US-Dollar. Und vielleicht ist auch der ein oder andere hier von Ihnen im Saal, der an dieser Befragung teilgenommen hat. Die Top 3 Prioritäten des Corporate Treasury wurden dabei wie folgt angegeben. Erstens wirksames Risikomanagement, zweitens effizientere Treasury-Prozesse und drittens den Cashflow sichtbarer und vor allen Dingen planbarer zu machen. Interessant für uns war, dass die Gebühren und Zahlungen an Banken nur an 8. Stelle standen. Aus dem Tagesgeschäft kann ich Ihnen sagen, denken wir, das müsste eigentlich für Sie eine höhere Priorität haben. Unser Anspruch als Banken muss es daher sein, Ihnen bei der Bewältigung dieser Aufgaben mit gutem Rat und werthaltigen Lösungen zu helfen. Dazu müssen wir unser Angebot fortlaufend weiterentwickeln. indem wir unsere langjährige Erfahrung und Kompetenz in den Vordergrund stellen, stellenweise aber auch, indem wir mit Ihnen zusammen ganz neue Wege beschreiten, wo dies sinnvoll ist, natürlich auch im Verbund mit anderen Partnern. Was bedeutet das mit Blick auf die soeben erwähnten Top-Prioritäten des Corporate Treasury? Widmen wir uns der Priorität 1, Risiken wirksam managen. Ganz oben in der Hierarchie der Risiken stehen nach Ansicht der befragten Finanzentscheider Markt- und Makrorisiken, und davon haben wir derzeit viele. Diese zu beachten, zu bewerten und mit passenden Absicherungen kostengünstig beherrschbar zu machen, ist eine Kernaufgabe und eine Kernkompetenz der Banken. Und glauben Sie mir, dies wird auch in Zukunft so bleiben. Das gilt aber auch für die zweitwichtigste Risikogattung, die immer rasanter auf die Agenda des Corporate Treasury drängt: Gefahren durch Internetkriminalität, mit denen Betrüger sehr gezielt und immer unerschrockener auch Unternehmen ins Visier nehmen. Angefangen bei Schadsoftware, über Phishing und Datendiebstahl bis hin zum Identitätsdiebstahl. Ohne Zweifel ein drängendes Thema mit sehr vielen Spielarten, den wir daher bewusst auch in einem unserer Workshops am morgigen Tag behandeln werden. Und wir freuen uns, dass wir dafür einen sehr ausgewiesenen Experten des Bundeskriminalamts für Cybercrime gewinnen konnten. Ich komme nun noch mal zu den Prioritäten 2 und 3. Mehr Effizienz in den Treasury-Prozessen und höhere Sichtbarkeit und Planbarkeit von Cashflows. Wenn wir das alles zusammenführen, dann vermuten wir dahinter dem Wunsch von Ihnen nach einem voll integrierten Treasury-Ökosystem, Cash, Liquiditäts-, Zins- und Währungsmanagement sowie Trade- und Working Capital Finance quasi auf einen Klick und das Ganze möglichst multibankfähig. Die Antwort auf solche und andere Wünsche kann nur sein, und sie ist es auch bereits, eine beschleunigte digitale Transformation des Bankensektors. Natürlich beobachten wir, dass sich eine immer mannigfaltigere Landschaft von Technologieanbietern, den sogenannten Fintechs, herausbildet. Diese Unternehmen bieten in der Regel Optimierungslösungen für spezifische Teilbereiche des Treasury an. In der Zukunft wird es für uns Banken also vor allem darauf ankommen, diese innovativen Angebote mit unserem eigenen, im Interesse von ganzheitlichen Lösungen für Sie als Unternehmen zu integrieren. Das Stichwort dabei lautet aus unserer Sicht Kooperation, also Zusammenarbeit. Entsprechend unserer Aufstellung der BNP als führende europäische Bank mit globalem Netzwerk unterhalten wir zu diesem Zweck weltweit 3 Standorte, und Sie gestatten mir die Reihenfolge: Paris, San Francisco, Shanghai. Aber auch hierzulande in Berlin suchen und fördern wir den aktiven Austausch mit diesen Innovatoren. Der Ansatz, den wir dabei verfolgen, lautet Open Innovation und gemeinsames Entwickeln. Aktuell etwa prüfen wir die Ergebnisse unseres ersten Blockchain-Biz-Hackathons, den wir im Februar speziell mit Blick auf das Transaction Banking abgehalten haben, und zwar mit Beteiligung von Kunden wie Ihnen, Blockchain-Experten, Fintechs, aber natürlich auch mit unseren eigenen Mitarbeitern. Und wir sind sehr zuversichtlich, dass wir am Ende Lösungen mit hohem Anwendungswert erzeugt haben werden. Entscheidend ist und bleibt am Ende aber, Fragen des Corporate Treasury, wie ich schon gesagt habe, ganzheitlich anzugehen. Und genau das setzt aus unserer Sicht nachhaltige Expertise und Innovationsfähigkeit in allen Bereichen des Treasury Managements voraus. Wenn man dies als eine Art Anforderungsprofil für die Zukunft aus Sicht des Treasuries nimmt, dann sehen wir Banken uns exzellent positioniert, hier die Beratungsführerschaft für Sie zu übernehmen. Denn seien Sie versichert, niemand versteht Ihre Bedürfnisse in der ganzen Breite und Zusammengehörigkeit besser als die Banken. Um einen Blick aufs große Ganze dürfte es auch gleich bei meinem Nachredner gehen, wenn er sich mit dem Wesen der Wirtschaftswissenschaften aus einem anderen Blickwinkel beschäftigt, vielleicht ein Ansatz schöpferischer Zerstörung in den Wirtschaftswissenschaften. Freuen Sie sich also mit mir auf die Ausführung von Tomás Sedlácek, und ich möchte ihn als einen der disruptiveren Wirtschaftswissenschaftler bezeichnen. Für die kommenden 3 Tage aber wünsche ich Ihnen und uns spannende neue Ausblicke, Diskussionen und einen bereichernden Austausch. Und ich darf jetzt wieder an Frau Lehre übergeben für das Podiumsgespräch. Herzlichen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit.
Ja, herzlichen Dank, Thorsten Murke. So nach der pragmatischen Rede wird es jetzt natürlich ein wenig philosophischer. Wir kommen zu unserem Hauptreferenten, dem radikalischen tschechischen Starökonomen Tomás Sedlácek. Ja, Sie haben sicher schon von ihm gehört. Er lehrt Wirtschaftsgeschichte und Wirtschaftsphilosophie an der Karls-Universität in Prag. Er berät die Regierung und er ist auch noch Chefökonom der größten tschechischen Bank und eben auch Multiautor. Ja, sein Machwerk, die Ökonomie von Gut und Böse, hat die internationalen Buchcharts gestürmt. Er erschüttert darin den Glauben an die gängigen ökonomischen, mathematischen Modelle. Und er durchbricht auch da die Grenzen immer wieder zu verschiedenen Disziplinen, zum Beispiel auch der Psychologie. Damit mischt er eigentlich die ganze Wirtschaftswelt mit einer neuen Buntheit von ökonomischen Ideen auf. Ich freue mich jetzt sehr auf einen Psychoanalytiker der Ökonomie oder sagen wir auch einen der heißesten ökonomischen Denker der Welt. Tomás Sedlácek, bitte sehr. Yeah, welcome. And
just pass you.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with the microphone.
You can have a seat, please.
Oh, okay.
Feel free. Okay. And it's a pleasure to have you here.
My pleasure.
Welcome. And actually, we have now 32 minutes left to explain the world. Or to explain
I think we
the
can
world.
still fit a drink in. I mean,
Okay, we'll see if we get that. And to explain the world economy. So how is the economy right now?
well, you know, the economy is not depressed. The economy is manic depressed. You know, and there's a big difference between the two. And it seems that there are more dangers on the manic side. It's sort of, you know, I'm always talking with my dear friends, economists, and they all feel that the economy is sick. And I'm saying, why is it sick? Well, because it isn't growing. I say, okay, and who told you that it should grow every year? I mean, you are here exact scientists. You want to be rigorous, so be rigorous all the way. Where did you take the information that the economy should grow every year? Is it written in the sky? Did you have a dream about it? You know, is it written in the Bible somewhere? Or does it come from history that the economy always grows? Or where did you take that from? Because sometimes I'm accused of being naive. Of course I am naive, but not as naive as mainstream economists, because believing that every year the economy should grow is a very, very naive belief. It's like believing that every day should be sunny day.
But right now it's still growing modestly, world economy.
Yeah, but how can we talk about growth when we have had 6-7 years of zero interest rate? What's the meaning of measuring GDP growth in a setting that's completely unnatural? What's the meaning of measuring GDP growth in a situation where your budget deficit is bigger than the growth figure? This is what happened a lot in the 4 years ago. America had 6% of GDP deficit, and they bought 1 or 2% of GDP growth. So very clever economic thinking.
So
you buy 2% of GDP for 7% of GDP. That's a very good deal.
So the economy is sick and the virus is negative interest rates.
Well, you know, I don't think the economy is sick. If you didn't follow
Maybe
the official...
depressive?
So that's one option, and the other option, which I consider also quite funny, that the crisis we have is in fact a post-coitum crisis. So the economy is sick, but not because it doesn't grow, but because of other characteristics. When a child doesn't grow, it's sick. When an adult doesn't grow, that's okay. If you want the adult to grow, he will not grow this, but this way.
So let's behave like adults. So not growing, that's the new normal. So
let's take the case of Japan. You know that Japan isn't growing for 30 over years, probably.
He's coming, by the way, directly from Japan.
I come from Japan yesterday, and there the debate with the economist was a typical one. We have a problem. We cannot grow. So we've been trying everything. My point with European economists is, even if you take all the advice from OECD, World Bank, I don't know, all the think tanks that we have, and if you force me to put the advice into one sentence, the advice is be more like Japan. Work harder, have better infrastructure, have better universities, invest more into high-tech infrastructure, etc., etc., etc. Of course, the joke is that even if we Europeans, and this is funny, just imagine, if we Europeans would be as hardworking as the Japanese, almost committing suicide if you lose your job, or this thing called karoshi, which is an official legal term which means death by work. And it's unfortunately quite common that it's always the man who dies working, so the widow gets extra payment. So one of the arguments why Japan cannot grow is this golden roof argument, that everybody already has 2 iPods, nobody wants a third one, even for free. So the economy cannot grow because it's saturated. This is one possible explanation.
But they're not satisfied. So
yes,
they're saturated but not satisfied.
Yeah, exactly. And my question is exactly, why do we take this as bad news? Because this is the hallelujah of capitalism.
But look, you always say it's manic depressive.
Yeah.
It's alcoholic, I read. The economy is like an alcoholic.
Yeah,
this is not really, doesn't sound very healthy. Actually, it sounds really sick. So capitalism is almost dead.
Yeah,
but I think about it.
We've done it because we are confusing. I think our generation, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I think our generation has confused capitalism with growth capitalism. Capitalism has nothing to do with growth. Capitalism has to do with freedoms, with the way we relate to each other, with competition, with free ownership of capital, and da-di-da-di-da-di-da. If it grows, thank God, nice. If it's nice weather, good, let's go surfing. But living your life expecting that every day will be a day like this is a recipe for a very, very depressive life. And it's exactly because we wanted every year to be a sunshine day, we made the economy addicted to drugs. And one drug is called fiscal policy, and the other drug is called monetary policy. The Keynesian debate back in 1930s was, among economists, should we give drugs to the economy or not? And some economists said yes, others said no, it's expensive, it takes too long time before the effect comes. It's addictive, the economy will get addicted to it. It changes the character of the subject. Like a drug changes the character of a person, it also changes the character of the economy. And it will have withdrawal symptoms the moment you withdraw of the drug. So this was the debate 80 years ago. Today the debate, and this is my argument with Paul Krugman, today the debate is completely different. Today the debate is no longer should we give the economy drug or not. Everybody agrees yes, as much as you can. See central banks, see governments. The problem of today is that we are running out of drugs. The shelf in which you keep your drugs is empty. And you are hooked. So just imagine what would the GDP look like if we simulated 2% interest rate. Just imagine how the growth would look like if we had balanced budgets. So measuring GDP growth in a situation of absolutely abnormal macroeconomic settings, it's like measuring a mood of a person who's in fridge. I mean, the temperature of a person who's in fridge. So this makes it extremely complicated, and the economy now is addicted.
But there are drugs, still drugs. I mean, the negative territory is quite huge as well. So it has the advantage
But it will,
that debt is going down then automatically. I mean, even in Switzerland they have negative
Well, 7 years ago we didn't know that such a territory exists. Nobody would ever. It doesn't even exist in our textbooks.
But it could be the new drug. I mean,
it could be the new drug. But again, just imagine the withdrawal effect. Because in a way, my scary question is, are we not a little bit simulating the pre-crisis scenario of 2007? This is already 9 years ago. It's a long time. We were much younger then. But Fed had lower interest rates than it was supposed to, and the American budget was highly in deficit. And by the way, let me assure you that the crisis which started in America was rather a manic crisis rather than a crisis out of depression. A crisis out of depression looks like this. GDP goes down, unemployment goes up, companies don't have money to pay back to the banks, and the system collapses. But that's not what happened in 2007 during the credit crunch. If you look at the numbers, America was enjoying the highest level of GDP growth for the highest period of time. There was extremely low unemployment, competitiveness was very high, and innovation was going through the roof. This was the time when Steve Jobs was still alive. Yeah? Now I think iPhone has invented a new kind of new, which is the same.
So you say it's very similar to the situation we had before we.
So if you look at the data on 2007, the weather was like today. Blue sky, not a cloud. And that's the moment when the backbone of the economy snapped. So it was a full throttle collapse, a manic-driven collapse. And all we want, and we have these prayer seminars, we call it conferences, we come here together, we gather, and we pray for growth.
But, I mean, the dealers like Mario Draghi and so, they have more drugs. They say helicopter money is coming.
Yeah, but then, of course...
They have more.
But then the body collapses. The drug, the legitimate amount of drugs is a Greek scenario. And I really don't know how far more banks can go and what would that do, what that would do to the system. So the conventional drugs are out. We are now even running on drugs, zero interest rate, which we didn't know existed 7 years ago.
Actually, I think interestingly, who or what made the economy so sick then?
Our desire,
central bankers as well.
Our desire to make every day happy day.
We ourselves.
Yes.
Human nature.
Our confusion of capitalism with growth capitalism. Because I think, in fact, today we believe in growth capitalism. We believe that growth is the most fundamental feature of capitalism, and if it doesn't grow, it's sick.
But greed is in the human nature. We know it from Gordon Gekko.
Yeah, but that still doesn't mean that it will grow. And the problem was, the Gordon Gekko quote is actually a good quote, because greed is good. It's meant in an ironic way, but today I think we are even beyond that. Not that greed is good, but greed is conditio sine qua non, and the problem of the day, if you read a standard economic article, the problem of today is that there is not enough of greed. There is not enough of it. The economy doesn't want to consume enough. So I come from former Czechoslovakia, and during the communist regime, we also had economic crises. But they were of exactly different nature. We wanted, demand and supply. We wanted cars. Demand was okay, supply was not. We wanted sugar, but no sugar. We wanted razor blades, and there were no razor blades. Sorry. And
still not?
Yeah. I cut it with an axe, the old style. So in a sort of an imaginary way, people were hungry for goods. They wanted to consume, but supply side kept faltering, making disruptions. Fast forward to today, And the situation is similar but exactly opposite. Today, the problem is not with the supply. We can produce as many cars. There's overproduction, no problem with sugar. You can go around 5 minutes, you can get 12 different types of razor blades. The supply is okay. The demand is faltering. So in a sort of an image...
So greed is missing, right?
Exactly,
now.
yeah. There is not enough of hunger. The economy is not hungry enough. So in the communist scenario, people were sitting around the table, they were hungry, and there was nothing to eat in a sort of image. Today, the table is full, but nobody wants to eat it.
Japan, as you see
Yeah,
it.
and this is where government comes in,
Extreme.
and this is where central bank comes in, and it creates artificial hunger. Go invest for negative interest rates. Go eat. The government consumes. This is the trick. Fiscal policy and monetary policy is basically just maneuvering with energy in time. So when the economy isn't hungry enough, and by the way, who sets how much is exactly enough? This is a political question. The government consumes instead of the economy. So I always give this stupid example. If I go to a bank and I borrow 10,000 euros, only a complete idiot would think that I'm 10,000 euros richer. Right? Everybody understands the difference between owing money and owning money. I know there's only one letter, but it makes a big difference. When the economy or the government does exactly the same thing, the government borrows, let's imagine, 3% of GDP, invests it into the economy, and next year the economy grows, let's say by 3% of the same GDP, we go around the streets opening champagne bottles, screaming, hallelujah, we are 3% richer. We're not. How stupid can we be? And also, I don't have to be controversial.
It's the politicians that make the economy
But also economists, also electorate, we are all in it. This is the problem, that we are confusing. Our basic ideology is growth capitalism. And it now is hitting something that we've never seen before in the history of mankind, where actually we come to a situation where 90% of the population actually have enough. It will never be 100, but 90 is pretty decent. We also don't know when to stop. And this is the characteristic of fetish. We always say the more the better, but that's not true. Sometimes you bump over too much. I always like to say to my friends, you don't know until you know too much, and then it's usually too late. So when something has more gravity than it should have, then we are dealing with a fetish. So like when you have a broken teeth, your tongue keeps hitting the broken teeth, and the more it hurts, the more you hit it. This is the characteristic of fetish. And this is, I think, is happening to us with growth. When you put too much power into something, it usually swaps the subject-object reversal. So in this analogy of cooking, today the tables are full, and there is not enough of hunger. What surprises me that our solution to the situation where there is too much food and not enough hunger is our recipe to cure that. It's let's cook more and more efficiently. The problem is debt, and we are dealing by more debt. This is again something, when the austerity debate, my friends on the other side of the argument say, let's run deficits so that we can jumpstart the economy in order to pay back our debts better, right? This is the argument that is very, very common. So here one doesn't even have to be an economist, you can be just a linguist and take the middle part of the sentence away, put it together, and what it says, we need more debt in order to pay debt better.
The debt. Yeah, exactly.
Which to you as, finance people, bankers people, if somebody comes to you and says, I have trouble paying my debt, can I please have some more?
They say yes. Today, debt is the zeitgeist. It's just, it's stupid not to leverage right now.
No.
Right.
Just because the drug is cheap doesn't mean you should take it. And the drug is cheap. The drug is for free now.
That's a good point.
Your dealer, the central bank, even gives you money for taking the drug. The problem is, sooner or later, the interest rates will go up. And
Why
what now
should
looks
they?
like
Why
a good...
should they? Because no countries can afford higher interest rates because they have debt themselves. They can't afford it to raise them.
Yeah, so you believe that this zero interest rate would be a
long
long-term...
period? A lot of people say it will be a very long period.
Well, it's funny because in the beginning...
In Japan as well, we had 2 decades or more.
And it's still not growing.
Yeah, but they still have 2 cell phones, 3 cars.
Yeah. And this
so it's not really a bad scenario.
It is a bad scenario because they have 230% of debt to GDP. You know, and nobody knows...
On the paper, but actually...
No,
they don't
this is...
feel,
everything is on the paper. Money is on the paper.
You've seen Tokyo. Do you really think that they live so bad?
No. They live wonderfully until they collapse. Greece was a great country. You know.
Yeah, Greece is not a situation in Japan.
Yeah, but I mean, Japan has more debt to... I mean, and also, how can you... What's the real wealth of Japan if 230% of that is made of debt? How rich would Germany be if you wouldn't have debt? How rich would Japan be if it wouldn't have debt? And this game you can't really play on forever.
There may be hope for something, for an idea, for an innovation, productivity, advantage, and then this all will...
Well, or the other option, that capitalism has already given us everything it could. That's the other option, because my method is take what everything everybody believes, turn it upside down and see if it makes sense. So most of the analysis that you get is that capitalism isn't giving us enough. My question is, well, what if the situation is reverse? What if capitalism gave us everything it could? What else do you want? A third iPhone? So I have this, I invented this close to your beautiful city. I'm in Albach in Austria. We were debating this. So I saw the cows, the milk cows, grazing on the fields.
That's Switzerland.
I saw over the borders. And I said, well, let's make a little allegory here if it makes sense. If not, forget it. So there's a cow, and there's a cowboy, or cowgirl, or a cow person. We have to be politically correct. So a cow person is milking a gender-neutral cow. And suddenly the cow stops giving it milk. So the cow person stands up and starts screaming and hitting the cow and telling the cow, you're a cow. I need more milk for my employment, for running I need more milk for my pensioners. I need more milk. And the cow opens her mouth, because this is my story, and in my stories, cows can talk. And she says, but I have already given you all my milk. Why are you beating me? And I gave you 12 baskets of milk today. And you don't even know where they are. One is rotten, the other one has a dent, the third one, the cat is leaking, the fourth one you don't even know where you've put. And you are blaming me for not giving you enough milk. Isn't this a somewhat image that could fit our capitalism?
Mm-hmm. There's a limit. Actually,
the reason we can't distribute it among ourselves is not a problem of economy. Just because we don't feel spiritual, personal life balance is not the fault of the economy. The economy is not here to fulfill your spiritual, reasons and all, or political or The economy is not here to take care of the old people. That's your job. The economy is not here to take care of the weak people. That's our job. You can't really expect the cow to even decide how much who gets what share of milk. So maybe we really are in a situation of post-coitum depression, which...
Actually, before we talk about the cure and therapies and solutions, I need a break here, and I know it will be very interesting for the audience because you're a chief economist, and for me as well it would be interesting because I'm a journalist, I'm very simple, and for me it's either ors, or I need clear answers, no evasion. And I picked up a few very popular economic theses, and I will confront you with that.
Please.
And you just say thumb up or thumb down.
Oh my God.
So, because you're chief economist as well of a big tech bank, and so let's see what we see. Clear, quick answer. Are you ready?
No.
Okay, let's see, because we're really interested in your
See,
opinion.
they never listen to you. You say,
Okay, first, the British will vote for Brexit.
as in
good.
they will not, or I hope they will not,
Yeah.
or they should not, or they could
So
not.
you
or
agree or you agree? And you
I,
don't?
as in I don't like the sentence?
No, don't get too philosophic
Oh, sorry.
about this. This is simple. So we need some... Okay, the British will vote for Brexit. Agree
I
or
hope not. So is that...
This is not a hope. Just a tendency. I hope not. But you think you agree
With
they will or not?
Brexit, do I agree with
No,
Brexit?
with the sentence.
With the sentence,
You make it so complicated.
it's a
actually.
question about future. Nobody knows the future. You should have...
Maybe I should ask the audience. Maybe they get it. No, okay, you said no. They probably won't vote for Brexit. Okay. Second, Europe's refugees crisis will get worse.
I
Do you
hope
agree?
not.
Okay,
It will get better.
It will get better.
Okay.
Exactly. Then you have
So
to
it
say-
takes me about
then
26
it's-
sentences
yeah,
until I understand the
negative.
method. Yeah.
So then you have to say that, exactly. Okay. Then third, Angela Merkel's open door immigration policy backfires and causes her to resign.
Is that the correct answer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We are in the middle of unwinding the biggest credit bubble in history. Okay. Emerging market crisis will widen.
By emerging market, you mean?
I mean, like with China, the stronger dollar, and they have debt in dollar.
Emerging,
with the
can you say that? Because I was thinking
emerging
that you
market,
mean Brazil or
like
Czech
Brazil,
Republic.
yeah. Emerging market crisis will widen.
Yes.
The turbulences, currencies.
And in that case, we are over-emerged.
Okay.
I think China is emerging, Czech Republic is emerged, and the West is... What happens when you emerge and you continue emerging?
And this should be some kind of quick answer. And
This is maybe the quickest I can do.
So, helicopter money will be distributed soon.
Helicopter money will be distributed soon, as in they have not been distributed for the past 26 years?
I think US, they have it, they did it once. The marriage. So, but now...
Soon.
No, okay. The collapse of oil price is irrational. Oil price will rise.
That makes it sound like that the other things in the economy are rational, which is, of course, something I can't agree. So, yeah, of course, oil prices are irrational.
But the collapse of oil price is irrational. So
Yes, yes.
It's okay.
Like
Yeah,
everything else.
Okay. It will rise again. Renewable energy prices will even get cheaper despite low oil price. Okay. We have reached peak globalization, like meaning that world trade will not grow more than GDP. And
It will. It's a concave function, so it will continue growing, but at a slower pace. If that's a good
so
answer.
approximately.
Yeah.
Approximately.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. We are overdue for a recession.
We are waiting.
Overdue for a recession. He's actually in his heart is an optimist, so he
I am
can't
an optimist, but for a slight philosopher, this is torture.
That's why I do it.
Ah, you like it?
Yeah.
Ah, it's okay.
No, I thought so. Then now the last one. Okay, losses. Sell all your stocks, buy gold, and run.
With all the gold on your back? No.
Okay. Yeah, thank you
She's
for
so happy.
So, but you see that it's now very clear that you're not a pessimist. So don't run and sell all your. I mean, a lot of banks, Royal Bank of Scotland actually did recommend that at the beginning of the year when we had the shaky markets. And
Yeah.
you don't, as chief economist.
Yeah, because
It was really nice. I mean, now.
I'm not an optimist, nor am I a pessimist.
Now I feel guilty somehow.
You should.
Yeah. Sorry. No, but it was
The
interesting
feeling
to
of
have your
guilt
opinion.
is exactly on the right spot.
But
No,
let's
but
go
I'm
back
not
to-
optimistic. I'm not opti nor pessi. I'm mystic.
Well, that sounds nice.
It's in the word. Many answers are in the word. Like when I was giving a speech in Frankfurt at the European Central Bank, when they become the lenders of last resort, I said that's a creditor of last resort, and in Latin, credit, it means faith. So ECB now is the believer of last resort. When nobody believes the future of the economy, the ECB and Fed has to conspicuously, now that we're talking about, whenever there was a crisis of faith, all the priests would come and show their faith by hitting themselves, not others, torturing themselves, conspicuously, as if representatively believing. So when the nation didn't believe, somebody had to conspicuously, over the top, believe. This is the situation today. Central banks are believers of last resort. You guys don't believe in the future of the economy. If it would be up to independent setting of interest rates, the interest rates would be extremely high. So that's where the national bank comes and sort of undermines this with low interest rates, which is fine, providing you can do this in reverse. When the economy is overheated, when it's manic, then we should be able to have very high interest rates in order to break the speed. And that's our problem. This is not a problem to have deficits during the crises. Our problem is that we have deficits during the growth periods as well. So it's like taking antibiotics every day. It loses the meaning.
But, what's your solution then, your cure? So would you say, like, sharing economy, that's the thing we really have to believe in?
Consume less. You don't need 9 shirts, you need maybe 2. And this doesn't mean that we are going to go back to the trees or, get rid of the cell phones. But it just means that we should be happy with being happy. What else do you...
Sometimes you just sound like a
philosopher.
hippie.
Yeah,
almost more like economic flower power.
Yeah, but what's the alternative? What is...
No moral is no alternative.
Yeah, more and more and more, that's all fine, but it really, then we get, if you are right, if we really need growth in order to sustain the markets, then Greece is not behind us, but Greece is ahead of us. Greece is just bankrupted 20 years before the rest of the West will. Greeks have always been ahead of time, starting with Aristotle and Plato and everybody. So if this is the case, if we really believe that we must have growth and we will create it artificially, then I think, or I warn, that the Greek scenario is quite probably our future.
So but coming back to this sharing economy, this is pushed by internet companies and so. Do you like that? Like all these ideas now coming in car sharing?
Because otherwise, we how was it yesterday? We invented we work in jobs too much. Every single movie you see today is a complaint of the parent, usually a father, working too much, not having time for his children. Every single movie, ending with Steve Jobs' movie, based on the father being too successful, not having time for his daughter. This is a cliche that speaks that we are guilty. We feel guilty that we work too much. We don't have time for our lives. So we work in jobs that stress us. We work too much. I'm not saying that we shouldn't work at all, but we work too much so that we produce things that we don't want. We buy them on money that we don't have so that we can make the person next door who we don't like jealous. And there is a little bit of a paradox. Everybody can feel it, no?
We can feel it, but how much time do you give us? How long is this going to work out? Like this?
I would say, I don't know. If it goes like this, 6 more years plus minus 5.
So we definitely heard that. Actually, I just see that we're running out of time a little bit. Maybe, I can ask you a private question at the end.
We have 5 seconds.
Yes. Or no, already.
It's a yes. It's a yes. I answer to any private question.
No
I answer
private
yes.
question. Actually, because these are all queens and kings of numbers, would have been interesting for them to know what your most important number would be in life.
42. Okay. This, for those of you who didn't laugh and for those of you who didn't clap, I have to explain. There is this book called Hitchhiker's Guide. We are running on debt. On time. There is a Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy, where people are sick and tired of asking these questions, and they want, just like you, a clear answer. Yeah? So they build a computer which will finally give them the answer once and for all to the meaning of life, universe, and everything. So they construct this big machine, and the machine says, yes, I can do it, but it will take me 2,000 years. It's a very difficult calculation. So after 2,000 years, the machine awakes from the computational slumber and says, I got it. I have clear, precise answer to the meaning of life, universe, and everything. So mankind from all the universes, it's science fiction, all the multiverse gathers to listen to the answer. Of course, in the meantime, philosophers go on strike because they are afraid that they will lose their jobs once this question gets answered. And the computer says, I have the answer. What is it? Are you ready? Yeah. Come on. 42. And this is what economics is about, I'm afraid, my ladies and gentlemen. Most of the numbers that we see are really 42s in disguise.
One last question. I mean, you're... So you have to find morality between the balance sheets or in the balance sheets. And one last question. Actually, what does your son think? What are you doing for a living? I mean, your economies or...
This must be also difficult for you now to explain to your small kids what it is exactly that daddy does or mother, right? Do you sell anything? No. Do you make anything? No. Do you fly the plane? No. I'm a manager. What is the, So it was funny because I was actually listening. My son was playing with his friends when he was 5. And suddenly they started talking about what is it that your daddy does. So I was eardropping while I was, cooking. So one says, my father is a doctor. He makes sick people ill. Sorry. Well, maybe. My father is a garbage taker. He makes sure that the city is clean. And what does your father do? And my son went, without a blink, said, my father tells stories for adults. Which I thought was precise.
Was brilliant. So we experienced that today.
We all do it. And have you ever noticed in your board meetings, you are telling stories to each other?
Storytellers.
You are, you have visions and dreams and fantasies, and we even call it that way. And we are trying to convince each other of the story. This is what Adam Smith, by the way, I found a very interesting quote in Adam Smith's theory of moral sentiments. He starts, the most important thing for a person is not profit, not utility, is for his story to be believed and followed. This is Adam Smith, whom we always thought that the most important thing for a person is self-profit, self-maximization of utility, but he actually said it's storytelling. So all economists tell fairy tales for adults, but I admit it.
And what a wonderful thought and idea of your son. No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tomás,
it's been a great
Sedlácek,
pleasure.
was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Really. Thank you.
One more thing. We have to do it outside of the microphone. Yes. Thank you.
Ja, ich bin sicher, Tomás Sedlácek hat ganz viele neue Fans gewonnen. Er wird auch sein Buch signieren unten auf der 2. Etage. Und dass Sie jetzt in Ihrem eigenen ökonomischen Kosmos, in Ihrem eigenen Universum den Überblick nicht verlieren, haben wir jetzt für Sie auch noch die folgenden Informationen, wie es weitergeht. Jetzt sind nämlich Ihre kreativen Gedanken und Meinungen gefragt in den verschiedenen Systemforen, in den 3 Runden der Workshops. Ja, ich muss sagen, Sie waren ein wunderbares Publikum. Wir sehen uns morgen wieder. Oder vielleicht gleich besser nachher auch zu einem Drink, weil den brauche ich jetzt nach dem Tomás Sedlácek. Ich freue mich auf Sie. Bis morgen.